You can have a huge advantage over everyone else in this field if you do what I'm about to tell you. And before you jump into this, I want you to put yourself in this scenario. A client messages you and asks something like, can we integrate our lead intake with an email validation service? Probably they want to stop wasting time on fake leads, anyone giving them fake details, and I believe that this is going to help them. For those that are familiar with what we built in the past, this is going to help them to avoid wasting money on credits, on operations, and even on API credits as well. So as a random automation builder, they might actually say, might actually say something like, oh, let me check if make.com has this module. And probably when they check, they don't find anyone. And maybe they can just respond like, sorry, I don't think that is possible on make.com. Will you try another platform or anything? One thing is that an objection like that, I believe that something like that already feels like, to this client, feels like, so it's not possible. So you can't do it. But you, based on what I'm about to explain to you now, would say something like, to this client, would probably respond to this client like, does the service have an API? Or you even might personally check a documentation about whatever they are about to build, and you build probably an HTTP module call in about 15 minutes. Now, the thing is that you can provide this client an email validation service into their system in no time. For those familiar with what we've been doing for a couple of days now, and a couple of people that have reached out to me also, they know I say this particular thing. I say that anything your client brings to you is actually possible. And this has never proven me wrong, because every single time a client brings a problem, I've been able to research this and not just get the solution, but I've been able to build it. And this is something that I don't know if it's a secret or it's something a lot of people don't know, but more solutions are basically being built. And with more solutions, I believe that there are more problems also. But these problems are being solved as well with more solutions. So it's more like they are unearthing a new problem every single time they are solving another problem. And this is something that I believe that the technology is trying to catch up very fast. It's not even trying, it is catching up very fast. So I've never seen a situation or a scenario where clients ask for something now and I say it's not possible. Because one thing is that there's an huge advantage here, and that is building using what we've been talking about all this while, and that is using the HTTP module. The idea is that the gap between no active module, where you say no to a client, or and a situation where you say, let me check the docs, or let me check the document, or let me check anything, is the gap I believe is between someone who gets paid for probably a random job and someone that they are going to retain this person for providing solutions constantly. Today in this video, we're going to close that gap. In fact, today in this video, we're going to close that gap for you as well. And this time, we're going to close it permanently. So let's connect the dots here. Yeah? If you are watching this for the first time, this is the 32 of the 60 days series, where I break down the 5 layers of AI. In layer 1, we learn how to talk to AI. In layer 2, we built a couple of pipes, and we also did some projects, some very interesting projects like the digital receptionist, the CRM, and other projects. We matched them, every single one of them together. I remember we even built databases and connected them one way or the other together, right? In layer 3, so far, we're still in layer 3. From day 26 through to day 31, that was yesterday, we talked about APIs in the simplest term I believe you can find online, and we also talked about documentation, reading, the HTTP module, webhooks, authentications, and even JSON. So we're still on what? JSON, right? And HTTP modules. So today we're going to just bring every single thing together, and we're going to build something. We're going to build something using every single thing we've covered in layer 3, basically all the concepts together. So the result we're going to get is, for today's build, we're going to have a digital receptionist, what we built also in the past, but this one is going to be much more smarter than the one that we built in, I believe that was day 15 when we started. So here is the competitive advantage I mentioned. Here's the honest picture. Most automation freelancers have seen, even some have gotten close to, know how to use native modules. A lot of them are actually familiar with make.com, and they use all the modules and make, they use the integrations, everything. But when the client needs something that's specific, something that is outside those 3,000 plus modules, if they can't find it there, most of them will say no, it is not possible. Or they are going to make a client pay an higher price for going to another service or going to another platform, probably switching them to Zapier, for example. This is something that I believe should be against what you do, because your role is to ensure that your clients do not waste money, which I also consider one of their most valuable sources, as well as their time. But when it comes to the business itself, if a business has to incur an higher cost to access a program or a solution, I believe that you have failed in that aspect. So your aim should be, one, you should provide solution to any client, right, or any business, and the other one also is to ensure they manage their resources very well. Because one thing you're also building for as an AI automation person is you're trying to save your time to avoid doing repetitive tasks. I mean, that's what everybody knows. The other thing, you're trying to save resources, which is money as well. You're trying to save money on what they have to spend to probably hire someone, or to probably hire someone for, or hire a couple of people. You're trying to save their resources. So why do you have to let them spend more to go to other platforms that are more expensive than you looking for ways to fix that? And I believe this is what a developer should be as well. So in this case now, if you have fluency in building using the HTTP module, you can connect virtually every service, any service, with a REST API. And one thing I need you to remember, because we've mentioned this most of the time in this video, is that in this series, is that most modern softwares have REST API. And REST API exists for things like the example I gave you, which is an email validation service, or probably lead enrichment, or SMS, payment processors, like CRMs, or databases, basically. Other APIs, even government data APIs as well. So most of all these SaaS that I've seen have been built on this for the last 10 years. Now the conversation basically shifts when you are talking about this, in sense that when they ask, can make.com support this, which is basically limiting you to only using the active integrations or the active views on make.com, to something like, does this service have an API, which is almost always yes. I believe it's almost always yes. So this is where you now ask another question, which is something like, you can ask if you can ask that from if a client brings a problem, you assess the service you need to work on, and if the first thing that comes to your head is, does this service have an API, I can tell you, you have everything you need to build. You basically have everything you need to build, because the entire thing is already within your palm. I believe it's already within your palm. Anyway, today's build, to not take too long on that, today's build, here's the problem that we're going to solve now, and we're going to go to our past projects. We're going to solve the digital receptionist that we've been building. And one thing I remember is that we have a couple of conditions where we can filter a couple of things to ensure that whatever result we get is in higher quality. One of them is the unique identifier I've been mentioning many times over, which is their email. Another one also can also be their phone number and their name as well. But when you want to look at this, you should know that in a form like this, I believe I've shown you guys Kali most of the time. I probably have shown you Kali. Now, in a form like this, it's possible for you to, one thing you need to know is that you cannot skip this. You can't skip this, right? An example is, you must always fill in a valid email. But the thing is that there's actually a trick around this. A lot of people can decide to probably just write any email. They can write any email, and most people, even I have done this also for a couple of services I'm trying to access temporarily. Some people go for temp mail. They use this, able to sign into platforms, they're able to fill in details and everything. Now imagine if you don't have any idea what temp mail is for. Temp mail is basically like an online temporary email which you can use to verify anything, you can use to access any service. And imagine you can also fill this in to anything just because you're trying to have access to it. Now, you can try to put yourself in a position of a business owner that wants to get in leads, that wants to get in emails. And at the end of the day, they discover that some of the emails they have are actually almost like fake emails, because many people don't check, this temporary email. Now, what you see here is an example of a temporary email. I can use this and access a couple of services online. Even some of the big tech services that you're very familiar with, I can actually access them with this. This is for educational purposes though this is quite popular. It's not something new. But however, I'm not saying you should use this, right? I'm not saying you should use this. But when it comes to businesses, these businesses want quality leads. They want leads that they know if they send an email over to, or probably they add to their newsletter, these people will get it. Or if they reach out to for follow-up, these people are also going to get this follow-up email. But in cases where what they have is an example of an email like this, which I'm never going to check after I cancel this, let me tell you, it's going to be very disastrous for these soap businesses. So in this case, you can see that this, so whichever lead this business takes, if this person uses a temporary email like this person will be able to follow up. So how do we ensure that people like this that are obviously trying to, rather than trying to game the system, these people are not trying to game the system. In a business setting, this person is just trying to waste their time, to be very honest. So when we see something like this, we believe that we need to have some procedures in place to ensure that we prevent these people from entering their data or from entering their CRM. So in doing that, we need to set a couple of things in place, which is why your clients in the first place will reach out to you and ask you, is there any way we can validate, an email validation service? And if something like that doesn't exist in make.com, what do you do in this case? You need to ensure that you provide this service. Now, one thing I'm going to show you is that you can give an example. An example is where you've built this for your client, right? This digital receptionist or this lead tracker, whichever one you call it, it's actually a digital receptionist and lead tracker, because we have the CRM, which is tracking the lead, right? So now imagine you've done this and this lead goes through. Let's zoom in a bit. Yeah, this is fine. So imagine this actually go through. I was looking at myself inside. Alright. So imagine this lead goes through. I mean, it's going to go through, obviously, because you can see it's allowed in the first place. And even the phone number might be incorrect. An example of this might even be something like, let me say, okay, though they can't game this because obviously there's nothing like this, right? But they can still put in any number, right? So how do we ensure that we're able to get it? In this case, I think the one that is more vulnerable is this email rather than this, because you saw what happened just now. Let me say this again, because we have no number in Nigeria that's like this. So you can see that it's still able to give a valid phone number, right? So this is the one that's this is the weak points that we have clearly. So how do we ensure that when this goes through, it's not going to enter the database, because we don't want that fake lead in. We don't want someone that is here to deceive us, right? So is here to waste the time of the business owner. Because if they are really serious, I believe whoever it is should put in their real email down. So basically, we have to what? We have to set a couple of things in place. We have to validate this email. So since we assume in this case now that we don't have an email service on make.com, we have to build one by ourselves. And that is where we pick something. I'm going to introduce this platform to you. That's abstract API. I have this. I already have my own setup. So if you're watching this, you need to set yours up. So if you go to this, just app.abstract.com basically. So you sign in. When you sign in with Google, the next thing it shows you something like this. You can just follow on with anyone. But I will tell you, just since we are doing email, follow up with this. When you click on this, you get this. It's going to show you something like this. You can see my own account. So I created an account and it's showing me my email. And you can make a test request. That's to test to see if this is really working. And it is. Because after clicking that, it's going to show you something like this, which is success. Then you can see, and it's telling you success and yes, valid email. That's the valid email? Is this format valid? True. SMTP valid? True. MX valid? True. All this. And it's even telling you the email service, the email provider name as well. So all these things that you see, and a couple of more details down there, which there are some things I probably should not, open. So when it shows you something like this, you've tested it, you've seen how it works. When you are done with this, when you click on this, you're going to be directed to a dashboard like this. So in this dashboard, you'll be able to see your API key, which we are going to need in this video. We are going to build something, so we obviously need this. You can even enrich more accounts. Maybe you have multiple Gmail accounts, and I use this to check every single one of my email. I was able to see that it's working very well. So try it and see what's up. Anyway, what we have here, I could even go probably add something like as a Jude art. Let me see to show you the other one live. Come. So when you see this and I enrich it, it's going to also work as okay. I'm waiting, and you can see valid email, true, because this email is actually it's real, it's valid. So how do we ensure we validate things like this? Let me see. We also tried. Let's try this as well. Let's try this if this works. Before then, I want you to see every single thing that is here now. You can see low, medium, medium. Username suspicious, false. Quality is 99. You can just you'll be able to know. You'll be able to have details of how this lead that you want to reach out to is. You can even show API endpoints. This is showing it as JSON basically. Let's try that. You can see what we're saying here now. Remember, I told you JSON is a way for receiving of data. So obviously they are showing you data. So in this case, you can see there are many more details down there. Every single one down here. So what we see here is the status, deliverable, valid, true, and every single thing here. Now we're going to what? We're going to try the other one. Okay, I was recording this video, but I don't know where it ended. I had to pause it and I already started teaching. Anyway, let's just show this. Now you can see a couple of things here. It's showing this, and it's showing when it comes to domain, live site, registered. Okay. Now you can see this quality now. I want us to look through here. The quality of this is 95%. And is this email disposable? False. Is this email, is it true? Yes, true. A couple of things are true, but at least we're able to point out something that is false here. Free email, true. One thing I want you to pick out here is this disposable. Now, it is possible for us to not be able to effectively track every single detail. And why is because one thing is that we look at this email. This was the email I was explaining. I don't know if I explained it very well in the video before everything stopped. But when we enrich this, we also see that what we get here says that this email is valid email, true as well. However, when it came to something like this, disposable, true. It means that this is what? This is a temporary email. This is not probably owned by a real person that wants to keep their email forever. Now, when we have one of this, give us something like this, we know that at that point, that email is likely not true. That email is like a fake email, a temporary email that this lead is bringing in. I'm going to show you something else now. I'm going to show you my own email. Again, this is my other email. Now, what you're going to see now is everything is true, right? Disposable here is false. The same thing as my original email. So having these two things, having these two knowledge in place makes you know that these emails that is being owned by Jude are actually real emails. There is true emails. How do we make this same effect inside this to ensure that if we see any email or a fake email, I can't really think of any email from my head to be honest. Well, let me see something like this. Let's see something like let's see. So if we have something like NirvanaXJude.com, let's try this out. I didn't even try this. Let's see. It says valid. Okay, fine. Okay, and nothing like that exists, to be honest. Nothing like that exists. I should probably just try. I don't know if NirvanaXJude exists, but it's definitely not mine. Okay, so you can see this is false. This is what happens when you know that this email does not exist. Disposable, false, quality 0. It doesn't exist actually. That's why. The format is false, this is false, this is false. nothing like this. Okay, I did not add at gmail.com. Hold on, let me add at gmail.com. So let's see if this is actually true. Let's see if this is true. The other one was a mistake. That's domain. So now what we have here is true, right? Let's see. So there's someone probably called this NirvanaXJude@gmail.com. Wow, whoever the person is. All right, I'm trying to get in a fake email. Just trying to get in a fake email, one way or the other. I really hope this doesn't exist too, because I don't know if there exists any Jude. Alright, so this is fake. Thank God. Invalid mailbox. Telling us invalid mailbox. That's this person doesn't exist basically. SMTP valid. You can see this. So if one of all this, which means that probably this is fake, or this is temporary, or this doesn't exist, from here the status detail, the SMTP, the status, you can see undeliverable, and we look at the possible as well, and even the quality score. All these are things that we can use to verify emails that come in. So in this case now, let us build something out now. I believe we are taking a lot of time already. So I want to go through the documentation for Abstract API right now, so you guys get to see every single thing. So this is the documentation for Abstract. So if you've never seen this before, I want you to remember the day 27 framework applies here as well. So there are 5 things that we're seeing here. The first one is the base URL. Well, this is the documentation. You can actually read. You can have access to this, and you see every single step where and what you can do using this abstract. Let's just check it out. Let's check it out. This was where I got a lot of my details. And we do have this. Okay, so it's showing us the documentations, and you can go to API docs here. You could have just gone there. You could have used there, basically the same thing. So anyway, now you can see everything here. One thing I want to pick out here, which I'm still going to explain here, is you can see that the request parameter is saying API_key. If you do remember what this is, you should know that this is not our normal, this is not authorization. This is API_key. Authorization, most of the time we're using it for header parameter, right? API.key, we're not using it for header parameter, we're using it for queries. That's one thing you know. Actually using this for queries. If you remember the 3 types that I mentioned, you'll know that what this is for query. So now you can look down, and you can see the query parameter here, authentication method. While you can use whichever one fits your application, this is the general query parameter because of what we can see here. If we want to use the one for header parameter, we have to what? We have to change our way around it. Like that's the bearer, right? This is the other one, that's the bearer as well. If you want to use this, you can see that you, instead of passing API key as a query parameter, you need to send this as authorization header as the bearer token. That means we need to basically flip it. We need to flip the key name, not the value. The value is still the same. The value is still your key. That's your key value itself. So, but we have to flip from anything regarding the query parameter. We have to fill it to. We have to swap it with the other one, which is authorization, that is bearer tokens basically. So but for default, this is what we're going to use. We're going to use query parameters. So you can see reading this, documentations are actually very good. And one thing I want you to notice in this is that we have our base URL. You know what the base URL is. The base URL is where you are going to do this. That's where we use this. Let's add a module. We're going to start building it little by little now. And we want HTTP, right? So we're going to make a request. And what we want, what do we want here? We want, when you look at this, when you look at everything here, we want a get. That's what we want. Actually want a get. Email validation, we want a get. So this is a get, right? That means in this case, we don't need any. What I mean is that you don't need any key per se, but we can still use this. Let's work around that. I'm going to show you around that. So what I'm saying here is that, okay, from the first one now, this is the what? This is the base URL. This is where the base URL stays. So we're going to take the base URL, and that is this. I'm going to use this and paste it right here. And for the next one, that's the authentication. This is where what? We use this, the API key here. Right here, we use the API key, and that is where we use query parameter. Remember, this is the default one we're using. We can also use this header. This is where we have to turn it to authorization instead. We have to flip every single thing. So this is the API key, and this is where we had our key itself. Where do you get your key? It's very simple. Please go back here and you'll be able to access your key. This is your primary API key for the email reputation to validate email and everything. You can see I've used it 23 times. So there's a limit to how many you can actually use per month, or else you need to pay for a plan. But when it comes to things like this, I believe you will still be able to do this, to use this rather. So let's use this key and let's paste our key somewhere here. Alright, so we pasted our key here. Yeah, that is what we have there. Now for the endpoint, we are using get, right, which is a root endpoint. The full this, every single thing here is going to match up together. This is what we're going to get together. The required parameter is obviously what we've shown there. Now this was email address to validate. We're also going to what? Put it right under. This is what I mean. We're also going to look for, we're also going to create something called email, and we have to put our email right here. So we're going to be using mine as example. Use at gmail.com. This is where we have to put in the value. This is where we have to put in the value actually. So that's what we have. Remember the thing about body, you do not need this. You can leave it as empty, and you can pass the response not, depending on what you want to do. So in this case we are passing the response. So let us save this. Let's see what it's telling us to do here. So this is not connected to a flow. Yeah, this is why there's no error here. So what we are going to do now is that this is what we just set up. This is everything we set up just now. What we're going to do here, let us quickly run this alone. Let's run this alone and let's see what happens. Okay, so we just made a mistake, right? It says invalid this, invalid blah blah blah. Settings could not be applied. Invalid API key, provided code authorization null. Okay, unauthorized. Okay, analyzing. Okay, so we can see the error is giving us now. It said couldn't reach the abstract API in this module. The request use an invalid API key value. So the service something it's. Anyway, let's do this. Use a valid API key for the field. So there's something going on in the API key. Let's see. Did we miss anything out? We have this, which is a get request, obviously, so we don't need the body. We have this. Did we use the correct? What did I use up here? Yeah, this is correct. Oh, okay. Let's see, and let's bring this over here. All right, so let's run this again. Okay, so this is a request, blah blah blah. Let's see what's up again. Now, one of the reasons is that we need to remove this. All right, remove the valid key for. Well, that was not the reason. Oh my god. Okay, so when I looked at this, and I look at what we have here, I discovered something. And that is that I was using a base URL. I believe they were using this long ago. And when I was looking for this, I was using this base URL, emailvalidation.abstractapi.com. And this was wrong. So this was the mistake I made. So I had to change it into this. And I believe I have this now. How did I even notice that? I realized that inside here, what I added here is email validation.abstract.api, right? But I went to check in what they have here, and I discovered what they have here is email reputation.abstractapi.com. I'm like, okay. Did I overlook that? And I went in to check what I've been working on all this while too. And that is, when you look at the endpoint, you can show API endpoint actually. So this is us trying to see everything we're trying to see everything in JSON as well, right? So now we can see that what we have here is also what? This. So you can see this. So I realize is email abstractapi.com. This is one of the reasons why you need to be very careful as well about what you are working on. So what we see here, we can actually run this like this. We can cancel out all this. It can still work also. Why we can do this is because this does not require any authentication. So we can just run everything via it is like we're trying to run this on a web, for example. It's like we're trying to run this here, for example. When we do this, you see that what we see here is going to bring something out. It is like we're trying to run the webbook, for example. We can see every single thing. We're doing this on the web. Same thing also what applies when we're doing this. It's almost the same thing. We are like literally using this, like replacing this with like a web page. So this is why you can what? Put everything here. But rather than doing that, we just what? Just put the base URL only. This is what we have here. We can add every single, the query parameter, the second parameter which we have email. So it's still the same thing. We are literally doing the same thing. This is one thing you should know. And now we run it, it's not going to give us an error anymore. Because I discovered that how come my API key is wrong? Because it's kept on saying API key is wrong. But if we run this time around, you can see it's working. Now one thing is that I did not use my email. I removed E from my email, so that email doesn't exist. There's nothing like, okay, I think I'm using a real email this time around. Sorry. My bad. This is a valid email. You can see every single thing is bringing out now, even the MX record and every other thing. Google, email domain. You can see the domain age. This domain age is based on, let's see, I believe this is this days? This days? How many years? This, oh my god, 30 years. Okay, so wait, is it a domain age? Okay, this age. I thought it was like my own particular, like when I opened it, I'm like, I don't understand. Date expires by day, last renewed days, whatever. This is what's it called? This is for Gmail. I'm actually curious what they have here. This is where they registered there. Let's check this out. This is one of the ways I actually used to research. If I see anything I'm not familiar with, I just pop in. I want to check what's this about. Where did they get this from? This probably might be like Namecheap, Hostinger, and the rest. Let's see. This is still going, so let's go do something else. So anyway, what we see here, we see quality as well. You can see this. This is a very good one. It's actually a very good one. Email risks should be low and low. Email risks are not out. So anyway, let's see. Yes, let's verify. And you can see that this is running very well. Now let's try another one. And the other one we're going to try is, let's try removing the E, because there's no one with this, right? So let's just try it out. So this is a fake email. And what we get here should be, let's see, deliverability, undeliverable, invalid mailbox, because obviously it doesn't exist, right? So what we have here, because we have this as gmail.com, like where they're literally verifying this from is asking Google, yo, do these people exist, or does this person exist? You can see the score is 0 because so address risk status high. So if you are sending to this person, no person doesn't exist, and total breaches. So let's see this. Okay, wow, yeah, this did they include Google to one of the people that they don't actually include Google to them, because Google is one of their buyers. Now available, brand opportunity or whatever. So anyway, this is not one of our business. Let's go back to what we want. So with what we have in place now, you can see that there's a way we can add an email validation, module, to ensure that whichever email is coming in, we're going to ensure that this email passes a couple of filters. This is where we're now going to use the filter. We're going to add something. So this is where I'm going to add the. And that is, let us share this. Let us put this somewhere here. So with what we have here now, to ensure we don't pass this, or we don't get here at all, we can put it right in between here. Okay, I believe we can't do that because of this, so let's bring this here and let's put this here. So we can do this right from this. Can see the right form. If it's possible, I should be able to bring this filter forward. Itself. So let's take this and let's bring this filter forward. So set up the filter. We add this here, and let's see what else. Yeah, the form name equals case insensitive. Form name equals case insensitive. Blah blah blah. From right source. All right, from right source. So we save this here. We can remove this. This is not where it's supposed to be. Okay, thank you. So now this is the first filter that confirms, is this from what we want? Is this from a lead intake system? Yeah, it is from lead intake system. Now what this does now is to ensure that is this email valid? Is it valid across a couple of things? Now this is where we get email validation. This is what you want to build for your customer or for your clients. So the first thing we're going to check is, okay, status code, yeah, that went through. The first thing we're going to check is through all the response. Let's see all the response. Header, yes, address, deliverability, okay. So what we see here, one thing is that if you are used to what you if you're familiar with the responses it's meant to give, that's where you get to use text operators. And an example of what I mean here is that when it comes to, let me see, when it says, okay, is there anyone that says disposable here? We need that. Email weeks, is it disposable? They didn't say anything disposable here. And we had something like that. Disposable. Wow, nothing like that is it here. It should have been very, very, very nice. So with this way now, we can't what? We can't validate. Yeah, it is. Yeah, this exists. Is it disposable? Now, what will happen if we say, let us try this again. Let us try this. So this time around, we're going to use that same email we got from this. Let's try this. So we get the value it says when it says something is disposable, and the value it gets is this disposable? Let us see. We get to see disposable. Where is disposable? True. Is it true or false? So this is boolean, right? So is it disposable? We can what? Just use boolean, and that is where we get to use boolean. We've not used boolean before, right? So equals to, it must be what? False. It must be false. Is it disposable? It must be equals to false. So whatever we have here must be equals to false. That's one. That's the false filter. Now this is a false filter, plus we could use an and rule, or can use an or rule as well, depending on what condition you want this to be. Now one thing I need you to know is that disposable is something we don't want. We don't want any email that is disposable, right? Or if we use an or, we could use an and. Let's use an and this time. And this one we're going to use quality score. This is a quality score. Quality score. Quality score. So the quality score, where is this? Is email quality, and this is the score here. So the score should be, let me see, email weeks. The score should be, I don't know why this is not showing the score, but I mean, it's actually meant to show it, right? So the score should be, this is deliverability, undeliverable, this is status. We don't need this, but we really need the score, right? So when it comes to the score, we can see, you know, score is the name. Let us check this. This is what we can use to know what we're actually working on. Very, 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 very well. The score is 0.8 here. So score is, this is all right. So what we can have here is, we can see, since this we're trying to calculate numerically, right? So we get to use numeric greater than or equals to. The score should be at least a 0.6. That is better. That is, anything from that higher is good, and should be 0.6 and this. So with this now, we could now say, let's bring something else again. Let's see. Status undeliverable must not be, if we have something like this, it says, you see here, it says valid and invalid email. If it says, let's use an and again. Let's use an and again. We need to ensure that whatever is passing through here is good. So this says not equals to, let's say not equals to case insensitive, whatever it brings in, undeliverable. So what we use here is undeliverable. Should not be equals to 1, right? So whatever we have here, you can see this is deliverable. This is still deliverable, though it's a temporary email, you can still deliver, obviously. So we must what? Ensure that it is not what equals to 1 deliverable. We could also have, one thing I'm just trying to show you here is that this is the main filter we're trying to set in, right? We just want to ensure that whatever this is, the score is high. That means when we want to deliver this, it's going to deliver successfully and very well. Like the example of my own is going to obviously deliver because I'm having a 9.5. That is almost 100%. I'm having a 95%. But in this case, anything that is just probably equals to 0.6, and that's equals to or high or greater than it, should let it pass through. That is what we have here. So let's see, which other thing should we do? I believe this is fine. So one thing we have put in place now is that it is not disposable. We are ensuring that what is disposable equals to false. That means what? If it shows anything is disposable and it says false, it should let it true, right? If it says true, it is not going to let it in. I mean, if it says true, that's still how we. So the next one is the score. If the score says 0.6 or greater, it should let it true as well. If it says this 0.6 is even like still low to me, so let's say greater than 0.6, then anything 0.6 something or 0.7 should let it true. So deliverability status should be deliverable. Well, I use the reverse. We could also just bring this in and do like this and say equals to, this still works as well. This works as well. So if it says anything other than this, it's not going to let it through. So we have this in place, and this is quite strong. Now because of this that we have in place, any email that we're getting through, which we are going to use an example very soon now, is going to what? It's going to validate and it's going to check if this email is a temporary email like what we have here or a true email is my own. So I'm going to try it with this instead, since you guys know obviously my own is going to go through, right? So now what we have to do here as well is we need to map this in. We need to map this in. And what I mean here is that we need to map this with, let me flip this. We need to map this with the email of whoever it is. This is for Daniel. So Daniel's own is going through. So what we have here is yeah, it's good. Everything we have here is good. So when we save this, this is what is going to validate it, and it's going to allow it to do this. Then once it does that, it's going to allow it through only when it fulfills a lot of conditions. Let's see, everything here is still mapped, right? So now what we are going to see, let's save this and we are going to run this. So we are going to run this. I believe it's going to go through. So what we have here, let me put the camera again. And yeah, I need leads badly. My business being what has been failing. So this is okay. We could let this through, and we need to run this. Use this. Let's just use run once. Now remember, it's a webhook, so it's not going to call it in immediately. Let's now go here and send what we want to send. So send this, and it's going through now. Now it's going through. Let's see what we have here. So this is supposed to let it through. So it means there's something wrong. I've probably connected this to other. I've connected this to other automations, right? So I still meant to let it through. Let's see. Or is it that we're not actually connected? Hold on. It's possible we're not connected. Let's check our tally dot blah. Let's check. And because this is still waiting, so that means there's something wrong somewhere. There's something wrong. And we are deleting system, right? We have integrations, and you can see our integration is on webhook. This is not our Tally webhook. This is a different webhook. So we have to connect to Tally. Wow. So you can see immediately I discovered that something was going on. I was able to match that, since the issue was not receiving data. Exceeded maximum wait time. That, I believe this is going to take about just a few seconds, about 40 seconds to go through. And if it passes the limit, it's going to cancel it out. So we have to connect this, right? We need to connect this. We could do it. We could just cancel this out, and we can still we could still connect both as well. Let me just connect that in front of you guys. Let's do that in front of you guys. Okay, we might have to add something because this edit is not working. So let's add again, and we use auth. Yes, definitely auth connection. Let's see if this works. I don't believe this. It's not going to let it go through, because we still need to sign in through auth itself. So we need to add a new connection, then auth, then I'm going to call it my new connection. Oh my god, my new connection. Alright, so we have this in now. It's popping up a page for those that are not aware. Popping up a page. It's going to tell me to sign in very soon. That is where it brings in, yeah, accept. Okay, so Nick just posted the video. I'm gonna check that, Nick. We're gonna check that. So yeah, I just made the connection, and I can see the two forms here, and that is this, and I connect here. So now I finally have it. Alright, so finally connected something. Let's confirm here. It's going to be connected twice. So the previous one we did actually worked then. Anyway, this still works, right? So we're going to try it again. We're going to try it again. And that means, yes, thank God it saved this. Very good one. So this one also saved this, and we're going to pick this, and this is always the one not saving. And I need it badly. Please help my business. Alright, so we're going to do this over again. We're going to see this in and run once in. So remember, we're using an email that is a temporary email. So whatever we have here is not meant to go through. What we're doing this is, remember, we're trying to avoid wasting of tokens and doing a lot of things, because if this works, if we don't have a filter in the first place and it makes it through any of these filters, probably which is the auth, warm, or cold, and we eat it here we are going to be risking our own domain that we're using to send, our sending domain, because at that point we are sending to an email that probably doesn't have a very good reputation. That's one. And the person that has it might not read it. And that is, if you keep sending emails to a couple of emails that they don't respond back, or they are not used by real people to send and forth emails. This is one of the reasons I believe that we have to warm up emails when we want to do cold outreach, because we are going to improve the email's reputation. Now in this case, you are worsening your email reputation if you are sending to email addresses that are not being used by humans and these people don't respond in real sense. So what we have here now, we're going to run it again. We're running it again. They want to finally click enter here. So let's see, submit, and it's going to go through. So you see, guess what happened here? See, is it from right source? This is the first one. Yes, it's from this lead intake system. Okay, all right, fair. Now, is this what? Validation. You can see what is going on. It is false. When this one was false, which means that what? The email quality itself, whatever we said here, that's what? Is this email, the email quality, is it disposable? It is what? It is actually true. It is disposable. So this is what? Not going to let it through. So what you can see here, you can see what, and you can see the response it gave us. So with this, we've avoided a lot of things. If any client comes to meet you with this, you can see that we've been able to what? Save them of even more cost on API for their AI, and also we prevented this email to go through all this. So with this in place now, you can see you can avoid a lot of things. You can avoid a lot of trouble as a business owner, and also as the one providing the solution, as the AI partner, as the AI automation specialist. These are things that you need to know to ensure that what these businesses, the people you work for, actually, I believe the right word to use here is succeed. Because every business I work with, I need to ensure these things work for them. I need to ensure they get as much value. I need to ensure not just it works for them, but I am even after ensuring that their business also grows. Because if their business grows, I also grow along with them too. Now, when it comes to the financial part, the money aside, the aim is not to just make money off them, right? The aim is to provide solution and to ensure that if anything I build helps them to avoid things, to grow, to improve things, this also adds value to my work. Because as I tell them what this thing is trying to prevent, or the solution this is giving them, I'm getting more of their trust, and they could also recommend me to any business owner, right? So all these things are things you need to ensure you put in place. These are things I constantly do to ensure that everything I'm doing, these people trust me. They trust what I'm doing. And once again, remember, a lot of people, I believe everybody is trying to survive. Even I am trying to survive, right? But I don't have that as the key point every time. I don't have that as the key point. What I mean is that I don't have it as the key point that the main thing I want to do is to just make money, do this project, and get off. No. I want to create a connection, right? I want to create a connection with these people because I believe there's always something we could work together in the future. And if there's no work, at the end of the day, these businesses are humans as well. They are people. I believe businesses are like their children, and everyone wants their children to grow. So obviously, I need to ensure their children grow. I need to ensure I'm not the antagonist for their children, right? So all these things are you need to what? Aside from just being an expert or a specialist or anything, you need to always have at the back of your mind, because these are things that will make you even think of solutions, make you think of problems that you could solve for whoever you work for, and thereby getting more trust and even earning more as well. So anyway, that's what we have. Another thing now to buttress our point is that there are other problems that can arise aside from email. Remember, we could also have things like, I think I have something here. Oh yeah, these were the filters I added in place. Remember, you could find all these things I'm doing already in this resource guide. So this is yeah. So what we see here, deliverable, is risky. We don't even want this. So we've already done. What did we add here instead? So deliverable, and this disposable false. This is deliverable. We're not even using anything not equals to risky. Or you get, we're not even doing that. It is deliverable. Yes, it's deliverable. Yes. So anyway, the broader part why I had all of this is that there are still more filters you could even apply. There's a phone validation as well. So what I'm saying here is that you want to ensure that this calls out to their phone, not just their emails. You want to even ensure that you have more filters for their phone as well. What I mean here is that you could set in more filters by, you can use the and probably what you want to set in. Oh, in this case, what we actually have here is the HTTP for email, right? So let's duplicate this. Let's just copy to clipboard. So let's clone this. So we could create one for phone validation as well. And how you get that before, because I don't know if I added the real one here, because it says phone validation, right? Let's see. This is how we know that we're using the real one. Everything we can find it here. You can use this same platform. See phone intelligence here. You can see this. So this one has a separate one. So you could let's just, this is the API key. We copied it, and let's see how it looks like. So it says phone intelligence. You can see I am wrong. So I'm going to use this and replace this here instead, so you guys can have access to this as well. So let's use phone intelligence. Yes, this is correct. Most of the details I added here are based on, especially this. I believe this is correct. But when it comes to this, I think I added the one of a few versions ago, and what we have here is correct, right? So we could get a lot of details depending on the form, the way the form leads looks like. What does this form lead have? This form lead has a place for name. That one might be something we might not be able to verify. We could have email, we could have phone number or WhatsApp number, phone number, still the same thing. We could even have company, and there's a way to also validate company as well. Company enrichment, you can see this. You can use what? n8n and use it to what? Also search for this business to know if this business really exists. This is in a case where we can assume that the client you are working for, the business you are building this automation for, is a B2B business. So obviously they are getting leads of other business owners, right? Or other service owners, or other service providers, whichever way you call it. And they ask them to put in their company name. An example of what I'm going to say here now is, I believe in my, sorry, let me use this. How.com, NirvanaXJude. I believe in my bookings I added this. I believe I added, yeah, I am only available by this time. Just few hours, not available more than these hours. So let's say picking from 5 o'clock. That's 5 o'clock. Okay, I did not ask for company here because this is meant to just what? Verify this is for my code outreach. Actually, this is not for inbound leads. This is for if I want to confirm. Actually, do I need to go through that? Okay, let me go through that real quick. Let me go to my cow.com itself. Let's go to cow.com. There are some. This is not signed in. Okay, so in this case, you can say that what I am asking something like a company website here, for example. So I could also ask for like a company name, and I could also leave it as a company website too. So depending on whatever I have, I am able to still verify using this n8n. I could use their company name and verify it with whichever other detail I have, and yeah. So these are ways you can also do further enrichment. You could even do currency conversion. Though I doubt you need that here. You don't need that here. IP, you can also do that as well. But the ones that I'm saying that are really very important, you can use this and this. So what you need to do is it's also a get, right? So just copy this, and I believe you can just remember I told you you could even skip all this and just add every single thing here instead. So, but you need to add your number. I don't know if this number is correct. I just added 123 0 123 like that. So let's and we have the key, blah blah blah. Okay, so this is our key. These are only key. Let's do this. Let's do this instead. Yes, delete all this and let's do this. Okay, I believe I need to go back here. Phone, right? So we have phone. Okay, phone, and we are going to change this to phone. So yes, we have this saved. It's not connected, that's why. And remember to always phone. So this is what? Email validation, right? This is email validation, and okay. So we could leave this here, and we could still add this here, right? But if we do that, it's going to be right behind this. So that's what I'm thinking, and not like this. I'll have to rearrange every one of them. So I could replace them. So I could also do this. Remember, I could also do this phone valid, and that is where I start bringing all these things in. Let's see, it does not save in that I do have this here. So let's save this. Do you know why it's doing that? I I need to change this. I need to flip this real quick now. I need to flip this. I'll flip this to, let's open this. I'll flip this to this, and I'm going to flip it here. While I bring this, I'm going to bring it here instead. So, and I'm going to change this to phone, and I'm going to change this to, is there any place for number here? Okay, I need to take this video off. Okay, so there should be a place for number, WhatsApp number, and yeah, we have that in place, and save. So this is our new phone validation, and this is our email, and you map in the email. So the email we are mapping in, yeah, we're mapping in email address. Wait, this is, no, we're not mapping this in. I'm mapping it from here. So you can see I almost made a mistake. I was using this to map this here. That's because we still have the value for this and we've not run it. So anyway, yeah, I have this saved. I have this saved as well. So I need to flip this as well. This what I have here, I'm meant to take disposable is false, right? Let's do this. Email valid. Then durability, disposable, quality is where disposable is. So the score we have here is what? False. The score, sorry, not this. Disposable is what I wanted to pick for this. So is it disposable? Boolean not equals to false. Equals to false. That's what we have here. We also have the other one, which is status is equals to deliverable. Equals to deliverable. And what do we have next? We have the next one, which is I believe that is the score. The score is we are using greater than 0.6. Yeah, we have this set up now. And the next one is this phone validation instead. So this time around we have to what? Since we've not actually run this, that's the issue we have now. We've not run this. So the only way we can do it now is to first expand it out, then unlink. You have to unlink. Let's try to connect back. You can see it's back there. So let's unlink and see what's up. Let's save and let's run using the previous thing that ran. That is here. So in this case we're able to see this. Okay, operations failed. There's something going on. Invalid key, blah blah blah. What we have here. Okay, now do you know why this is? This is for phone number. Using the wrong key here. Let's see. We're using the wrong key here. So this is the key I actually meant to use for that. And we're actually meant to use this key. Yes. So yeah. While this, we are using the right key. Yes, we're using the right key. So wait, this is let's try to see this. This is okay. Sorry, we're verifying this phone number. Then we're verifying we're verifying this email, right? This is email and phone number. Save. And this is meant to be, let's connect this back in and let's see again. This is meant to be for our email now. So we don't have for phone number yet. So is this one we're actually even trying to remove? This is what we're trying to remove. Let's just remove this. Let's remove this. Yeah, so this is what we're trying to confirm. So I've been able to flip it aside and then let's run it again. Let's run using existing and we run once. So we've been able to get the value here. Now what does it say? Did I use my original phone number? Okay, I'm using a WhatsApp number which is, I don't know if it is real. I've been using that number for every single thing we have been doing on this. So let's see if it is real. True, it's actually valid. So it's someone's number. So please everyone, ensure you don't use the number I've been providing here all this while. Ensure you don't do this. Just don't do this. Registration, phone risk low, possible false. It's really someone's number. Phone breaches empty. So you could actually confirm phone breaches as well. I had no idea you could do that. Okay. So national, yeah. It's got Nigeria at the end of the day. n8n, wow, it actually got the card. But it says phone registration. Okay. So SMS domain unknown for NG with Nigeria. This is where we can even use another filter as well. I mean, we could do a lot of things. That's what I've been trying to do here since we do a lot of things. Now we're going to do what? Number validation, right? So phone no valid, phone number valid, and we're going to start picking a couple of things here. So what's the number format? Let's pick the first one we want to pick here. Is this valid? Is valid is not equals to false. Also works out. That's basically saying is valid is true, right? So not equals to false is still true. When you are saying minus multiplied by minus, that is plus, right? That is what this is saying. So the other one is status. Let's see. Status is active. Registration is phone risk is low. If it says I, we should not call it. If it says this is low, equals to, not equals to, not equals to low. So we don't want to, wait, the risk level is low rather, sorry. This is what? Should be equals to low. Equals to low. So far as equals to low, you should let it pass. That means we don't have any risks here calling this number or reaching out to this number. So whatever we have here too, we could make it a format. We could use this. City should be Nigeria. So we want to ensure, let me see, phone messaging, there's nothing here. We want to ensure this is from Nigeria. So country name or city is Nigeria. Let's use country name. Country name equals to, basic operator exists, equals to, okay. So we're not getting text operator, okay, equals to Nigeria. So equals to Nigeria. So yeah, equals to this. Whatever we have in is going to work. So we have all this in place now. We have this in place as well. So this is from the email part. But because the email part we've not gotten anything in, so that's why we have this. Yeah. So we have to also do for the again, once again. And yeah, let's run this. Let's save this first. Then run it based on the previous run and run once. So that worked. This as well. You see, phone valid, it let it through to the email validation. So when it says email valid, you can what? Mapping every single thing here as well. So is it what? Quality, right? This one says quality. Then is it disposable? The other one we have to cancel the other one out. So quality score. Let's see the score. This is quality as well. And where's the score? Score. Yeah, this and status as well. Status is deliverability as well. Then status. So whatever we have here now, we're able to verify what the phone number and the email. So that's it for this video. I hope I've been able to explain through all these things, and because we don't have a native module that could actually do all this together, or we have all these things in one place. That was why I decided to show something like this and to show you that there's a lot of possibility out there. So far there's an API, but so far it's a modern service. I believe everything should have an API. So yeah, you could try it, you could try anything, you could test anything, and I hope this was helpful to you. So one thing is that most automation builders cannot do what we just did here, and that is because they have not explored to this point. All they have been doing is probably connecting Airtable to a platform, and that is not bad. Don't get me wrong, that's not bad. But I believe that if you want to offer more, if you want to offer more value, if you want to also earn more as well, having the knowledge of building something from scratch like this is going to help you real big, because you get to what? Offer more options, offer more features to these clients. And I want you to remember every single thing I've said. You're trying to let them avoid having to spend unnecessarily, which includes having this in place now. Anyone could just go into this scenario and the API gets used, and it can even risk their domain, not having good reputation, just a lot of things. So, well, one thing is that most people stop when they are unable to work around this. But you, this time around, can just search online, read the doc, build in 15 minutes. I mean, what you could do can be as simple as free this time, or an API that can verify emails. Any free one. This is just a simple one, and you can see this. There are several highly reliable days that offer free trial. This is just all you need to do. When you search for this, and if this exists, you can see this. There are various others that you can even copy in and copy the API and start building here. All you need to do, any free one with documentation. I need this with my make DOM scenario, or in my scenario. Just use this. You could say I need this with. Well, this still works. You can use this, make an API call. This is all you need. Ontad.io, you can see this was even code as well. This could verify email as well, and they included Ontad.io. I included that when it comes to searching for company name, or company, if the company exists or something. I had no idea they actually have this too. You can use a standard HTTP request as this. So anything is possible, guys. I really hope this has been able to open your eyes to many more possibilities. And I believe believe tomorrow is going to be day 33, right? So the second layer we've been able to build, the second layer 3, that we're going to build something big. We're going to build a system, for a full system for a service that has also no make.com integration at all. This one has a different API entirely. This one has a different authentication partner, but this one has a different authentication pattern, but it has the same process, so it's very easy. We're going to build something real fun as well. And if you need resources to what we have here, if you need this, every single thing explained here. And also, please, once again, you guys should do these tasks. It's very, very important. It ensures that what your brain remembers, that what it knows what it has done, and it tries it by itself. So aside from watching this video, I would want you to use this. So you can find the resource anywhere below, and yeah. So if you have any question, drop it in the comment section, and or drop it in the comments below. If I need to, I'll have to break it down and explain. I'll even have to make a video for you as well. All right, see you guys, and